2020.
I want to really to start by thanking the MPC, the people that were on the task force, because they've really had a tough job over the past 3 years. They have spent a lot of money. They spent a lot of time. And there's some really good ideas in there. There's some things that I think need to be tweaked, like possibly the development of this 15 to 25% slope, some of the tax implications, property rights. I don't want to go over those. We've spent 2 hours going over all that right now, and I'll let somebody else, fight those battles. That said, I want to bring up something that's not been talked about. And it's something that I have some of the most serious reservations about the plan, and I really want not necessarily an answer tonight, but let the parties think about this and try to get some answers when we have our workshop. They deal not with the plan itself, but with us as an elected body and how the plan will be enforced and implemented. For the Hillsides and Ridgetop plan to work, the whole plan must be adopted, accepted, and implemented in its entirety, not just the parts that certain task force members and certain commissioners like. The plan is based on the premise that the professional MPC staff, through thoughtful research and investigations, have developed a wise plan that makes sense. In summary, we save our ridges and hilltops and allow incentives for development at a higher density on flatter terrain. I think everyone would agree that's what the plan's all about. The proponents of the plan refer to this as wise and appropriate use of Knox County land. The problem is, I don't believe that even the most ardent supporters of the plan really believe in the plan. Let me give you several real-life examples about what I'm talking about. 2 months ago, the thoughtful professional staff of the NPC presented a sector plan change to allow a business park along the interstate. The NPC presented the plan as wise and an appropriate use of land. This is a business park on an interstate interchange. Tonight we've talked about $300,000 spent on the Hill Slope and Ridgetop plan. What about the $10 million in 5 years spent at Midway? The NPC's decision and recommendation was voted down as wrong, inappropriate, and misguided by members of the task force, and some of the strongest opponents of the business park now laud the wisdom of the present NPC plan. I couldn't help but notice that 2 of the task force members that now strongly endorse the Hillside and Ridgetop plan of allowing denser residential development are the same ones that just 2 months ago were ardently against any sewer system in East Knox County. What I'd like to know, has there now been a change of opinion? If not, I would like to know how we're going to allow incentives of denser residential development without building a sewer system. How are we going to do this? A little over a year ago, we rejected an NPC plan in South Knox County to allow high-density residential development when the developer wanted to use a tool called transfer of developmental rights, which would preserve hillsides and green space. It was soundly rejected by this commission because of considerable citizen objection. An essentially identical tool is permitted in the Hillside and Ridgetop plan for a conservation easement in dense housing. My point of all this isn't to refight past battles. They're finished. I accept them. They're gone. But it is a fundamental political fact that a political body should and does bend to citizen pressure. I do not see the ordinary citizens of Knox County accepting parts of this plan, such as a large sewer system in East Knox County, in order to support high-density residential environments. I don't see other neighborhoods in Knox County supporting high-density residential developments where we have low residential developments already. We've tried that before, and there's a lot of citizen objection. And the commission and members of the same people that are advocating this will yield to the citizen pressure, and then the whole plan fails because we have no development anywhere. Just as a final word, I'd like to say we've got to have affordable housing for our citizens. We've got to have that. I may work in a place where I have contact with a lot of people who are low-income and middle-income workers. A lot of those no longer live in Knox County. I see people every day that live in Claiborne County, Campbell County, and even Middlesboro, Kentucky, that commute back and forth to Knoxville because they can't find affordable housing for their families in this county. What we have to do is we have to find a way to reconcile this plan, and we have to accept the whole plan. Taking the parts that we like, or people who are advocating this, taking the parts that we like about preserving the hill slopes and the ridge tops is fine. But we're going to have to accept the rest of the plan, which is dense housing on flatter terrain, which means we're going to have sewer plants, we're going to have dense housing in low-dense residential neighborhoods, and see if people are willing to accept it. I don't know, but this is something that's going to have to be addressed if we accept the whole plan. Thank you.
Mr. Donaldson.
Thank you. I stand to remind you of the box that the state legislature has put you in, and that before you can compromise, you have to not compromise. The Planning Commission has adopted this plan as part of the general plan. Your role on the agenda this evening is to make it operative or not.
I would draw my second.
If you choose to not make it operative, then you can move on to step 2 by initiating by resolution your compromise plan. But it is a multi-step process that has been adopted by the state legislature since mid-2008, comparable to what we went through with the East County Sector Plan.
Commissioner Lundy here.
Yes, I remove that motion, but I do want to make a second motion that we vote on this tonight. I think postponing it for 60 more days.
Substitute
motion.
So your substitute motion then is to...
Vote on it tonight.
Is there a second?
Second.
So motion and second is to vote on the plan this evening. I want to get this gentleman, and then we'll go to Commissioner Mathers. Yes, sir. Your name and address.